Welcome to the Lust for Life podcast. This is your host, Tennessee Reed, and my husband, Jake, and I host this together, and it's a unique way that we're able to journal our lives and reflect on different conversations that we've had throughout the week. He's unable to do it today because he's busy with his medical school and studying for his Step 1 exam, which is a big board exam. So that's exciting that he's able to take that. I can't believe we're already over a year into his medical school. He has no more classes left. It's just rotations now and then applying to residency. So that's pretty crazy. This week is Christmas, so tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and then Christmas is next, and it's just so much fun. We're staying here for Christmas in North Carolina. We considered going to Indiana to visit his sister, but it just didn't work out. Jake got sick last week. We ended up at the Instacare because Jake was having a fever, and we just wanted to make sure everything was okay. But so we're just sticking around this week, and he got a little bit behind in his studying for this board exam, so we just decided it's better we stay here and stay focused. And it's been pretty cool to be able to just be on our own, if that makes sense, and just it's kind of a us against the world type of feeling. Something we just get to experience, a big holiday by ourselves and what it really means to us, and maybe focus a little bit more on the meaning. And this last Sunday we went to church, and they had a big Christmas production, lots of music, and it just really helped remind me of the reason for the season, and that's Christ and his birth and the light that he gives this world when it feels like there is none. And it's such a great reminder that I wish we could carry all year round, but just like happiness and sadness, maybe that's the point of Christmas, is to keep this such a joyous holiday, because it doesn't happen every year or every day of the year. It just happens once a month or one month out of the year, which is pretty cool. But it just reminded me that a visualization of Jesus is just a person. Not just a person, but he is, our God, and he's our brother. And I just imagine sitting next to him and chatting with him and having a conversation with him and laughing with him and laughing at silly things, and that he has a personality, which is something that I lacked growing up thinking about Jesus. It took me a while to have a testimony of Jesus, and I think it's because I didn't personify him. I just saw him as this higher being rather than somebody sitting next to me at eye level having a conversation with me. And when I put it in that perspective, it really helps me feel seen. I don't feel like I'm being looked down upon. I feel like I'm being looked with, if that makes sense. We're at eye level and we're having a conversation. And it was a good reminder for me to have that Sunday with music and just a lot of holiday spirit and just lots of love shared, which is pretty cool. But like I said, last week Jake was sick, and I feel like I was under the weather as well, but I did not go as far as catch a fever. I was able to sleep it off, I think, most of it, but I did feel a little under the weather. But it was kind of crazy. His Garmin, his fitness watch, keeps track of his heart rate, so at night it's usually like 40s, and then if he's resting in the day, just sitting there, it's in the 50s. And when we were just resting in the day, I was at work and he was at home, he told me his heart rate just sitting there was like 115, and I was like, oh my goodness. So like the nurse and me started to freak out, and so I was like, we're going to the Instacare, Jake, I'm really nervous about you. So we went to the Instacare and tested negative for flu, testing negative for COVID, and the doctor was just like, it's just some virus going around. And it made me feel better that, I don't know, I was just worried he had some like heart rhythm thing going on. I don't know. It reminded me of maybe why it's a good thing we don't operate on family members, because you just don't think straight when it's your family member. You can't think logically, you can't think holistically, you just are so focused on them and their one problem. You don't think about the whole picture and possibilities, and you don't think about likelihoods or things like that. And so it was interesting because I was like, man, this is exactly why you don't operate on family, and it's hard to take care of family sometimes because they mean so much to you that it's hard to think realistically. So I felt that was just a really interesting reminder for me. I'm trying to think what else happened this week. I found Jake a Christmas present. It was not what I originally wanted to get him, but I'm really excited. Super, super excited. And I think he'll love it. We did not spend a ton on Christmas this year because we both decided that our Ironman training and how much all that costed was definitely more than we should have paid for. So we decided that to justify all those payments for that, we just wouldn't buy each other a crazy amount of gifts. So we just got each one gift, and then we've given, family gifts, and we've gotten some family gifts. So it'll be a fun little Christmas, and we'll just hang out together and have a good time. I still can't really exercise too much on my legs because my knee is still a little messed up from the Ironman, so we'll see. I'm not going to be doing Texas this year, the Texas Ironman that Jake's thinking about doing, but I will cheer him on so hard. I'm aiming to do the Boston Marathon. I didn't think I would because Texas and Boston are the same week, so I was like, there's no way I could do both, but I'm going to try and just even be healthy enough to even enjoy the Boston Marathon because I don't think I'll be in, competitive shape, but I'll be happy just to be able to go and run it and have a good time. So maybe that's the course we do. I'm not quite sure how everything's going to play out this year, but it'll be a good year. I just got to get my knees taken care of. But yeah, we're excited for Christmas. We're excited to move to Wilmington. We're starting to look for places and see kind of where we want to end up, and it's just a lot is going on, but it's very exciting, and I know it all will work out, and even if it doesn't work out in the way we think it should, it will be okay, and there's multiple options that we can take that will be good. So but yeah, we've had ups and downs this week relationship wise. I think we kind of lost touch with each other's love languages, so this week we both took the love language quiz again, and we looked at each other's love languages, and they were ranked and everything, and it's so funny because ours is literally opposite. Every single ranked one is opposite except for his bottom two are switched, if that makes sense. So basically we're as opposite as you can get with love languages. So it's very unique in the way we have to show each other love, and it was a really good reminder because we kind of just touched base with each other this week and was like, hey, I feel a little disconnected, what's going on? And we talked about it, and it was kind of fun to take the love language quiz again and see where we were at. Usually his is touch first, and mine is very last touch. I do not like touching, but it switched. His is words of affirmation now and then touch, and then my first one is acts of service. And it's interesting because we really thought about it, and the way we show each other love is how we want to be loved, so it's interesting if you think about that with every person. The way they act towards others is usually how they want to be treated or how they expect to be treated most of the time. So if somebody is asking you how your weekend is, they probably want to be asked how their weekend was. Or if somebody asks, I don't know, if somebody hosts a party, they probably want to be invited to a party. So it's very interesting to think about the way somebody acts towards you is usually how they want to be treated. And I found that I knew that, but it was just a good reminder, and I don't think it sunk in as deep as it did this week when we took those quizzes. And I was like, wow, we show each other love in the exact way we want to be loved. So if it's interesting, if you just look at somebody, how they treat others is how they want to be treated most of the time. And yeah, and there was other quizzes too we took. There was, an apology quiz. How would you like to be apologized to best? And it's admitting the mistake or trying to figure out a solution to not make that happen not make it happen in the future. Or so that one was really interesting as well. And because you apologize in ways, the same thing. You apologize to your partner in the way that you want to be apologized to. And so I found that also interesting. And then there was like an anger quiz to see how well your anger is managed. So we did that last night, and it was actually kind of fun. A little like, it's a topic that you have to sit down for and be humble and really want to be there for each other. And so you have to have kind of that mindset, but it was good that we retouched on that topic. But something else that we did last night was we just decided that we should read the 5 Love Language book more often. We read it like over a year ago, so we should read it again, and I need to read it again as well. He kind of was reading it and telling me about what he was reading, but I need to take it upon myself and read it as well. But yeah, that I know it's kind of a quick episode, but we're really excited for Christmas this year, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And we publish these episodes every Tuesday, and we'll see you next week.